Breakfast is often called the most important meal of the day, and for seniors, that couldn't be more true. After hours without food, your body wakes up needing fuel, not just to move, but to stay balanced, alert, and strong. But for many older adults, what feels like a healthy breakfast may be the very thing causing morning fatigue, joint stiffness, or that sudden energy crash before lunch. That's why, in today's video, we'll uncover 4 common breakfast foods that may be silently hurting your health and reveal 4 powerful upgrades to help rebuild energy, muscle, and long-term strength. Hot beverage, and right in the middle, we'll expose one so-called healthy item that could be more damaging than soda, especially if you're over 60. If you've been waking up tired or noticing your body doesn't bounce back like it used to, this might be the most important video you watch this week. Backhand index pointing right. If you're finding this helpful already, please give us a like and hit that subscribe button. It helps support this channel so we can keep delivering science-backed health tips made just for you. Now, let's begin, starting with the most misleading breakfast food of all. It's something many older adults reach for each morning, thinking it's a safe, even smart choice. But inside the box lies more than just sugar. It may be stealing your energy, draining your muscles, and quietly working against your health. 1. Sugary breakfast cereals, a sweet trap that saps your strength. They may look innocent, but sugary cereals are one of the sneakiest health threats for older adults. Hidden behind bright boxes and health claims like fortified with vitamins are bowls filled with refined sugars, artificial flavors, and empty carbohydrates. For seniors, this kind of breakfast causes more harm than good. Why? Because with age, your body loses its ability to regulate blood sugar efficiently. When you pour a bowl of sugary cereal, you're essentially flooding your system with fast carbs that spike glucose levels, and what goes up fast crashes just as hard. Chart decreasing. What happens next? Sudden energy crash within 1 to 2 hours. Increased cravings and overeating later in the day. Insulin resistance over time, which raises your risk for type 2 diabetes. Accelerated muscle loss due to chronic inflammation and lack of protein. Many cereals marketed to seniors still contain hidden sugars. Watch for labels listing glucose, fructose, or corn syrup near the top. They also lack fiber and protein, leaving you hungry quickly. Warning: nutritional red flag. If a cereal has more than 8 g of sugar per serving and less than 3 g of fiber, it's a dessert in disguise. Exclamation mark. What's worse? Many seniors pour a bowl of cereal thinking they're starting their day with something light and healthy, especially when the box says Heart Smart or Vitamin Fortified. But those labels are often marketing tricks. The reality? You're eating refined grains that digest like sugar, sending your insulin into overdrive and creating a perfect storm for muscle breakdown and inflammation. Brain chronic inflammation caused by excess sugar has been linked not only to fatigue and joint pain, but also to cognitive decline. Over time, this blood sugar roller coaster can impact memory, focus, and mood stability, all of which are essential for maintaining independence as we age. White heavy checkmark. Better alternative. Switch to steel-cut oats, topped with cinnamon, flaxseed, and walnuts. You'll get fiber, omega-3s, and slow-release energy that supports stable blood sugar and sustained mental clarity. Sparkles. Coming up next, a breakfast drink you think is helping, but it could be hijacking your energy and weakening your muscles without you knowing it. Crossmark 2. Fruit juice, a sugar bomb in disguise. You may have grown up thinking orange juice was the healthiest way to start the day. And yes, oranges have vitamin C, but juice without the fiber is a recipe for blood sugar chaos, especially for seniors. Here's what makes juice problematic. Stripped of fiber, so sugar absorbs too quickly. Causes blood sugar spikes and crashes. Stimulates fat storage rather than fat burning. Offers minimal satiety, leading to hunger shortly after drinking. Tangerine. Did you know? 1 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains about 21 g of sugar. That's more than a candy bar. Juice delivers sugar in liquid form, bypassing the stomach's natural digestion pace. This causes insulin to surge, forcing your body to store that sugar, often as belly fat. And without the fiber from whole fruit, there's nothing to buffer that impact. The result? A quick jolt of energy, followed by a foggy head, weak muscles, and irritability. Why'd heavy checkmark smarter choice? Eat whole fruit like oranges or berries. Or make a smoothie with leafy greens, Greek yogurt, and chia seeds for protein and fiber. Your muscles and brain will thank you. Sparkle still with us? Good, because next, we're busting a common myth about one light food that's stealing your strength from the inside. 3. Low-fat yogurt, the misleading healthy option. At first glance, low-fat yogurt seems like the perfect breakfast. It's dairy, it's creamy, and it's often labeled as light. But take a closer look, and you'll uncover a trap many seniors fall into. Here's the problem. When you remove fat from yogurt, you strip away the very component that makes it satisfying and nutrient-dense. Manufacturers compensate by adding sugars, artificial thickeners, and flavorings, turning a healthy food into a sugary snack. Why this is harmful for older adults? Low fat means less satiety equals more cravings later. Added sugars lead to inflammation and fat gain. Missing healthy fats equals poor absorption of vitamins D, A, E, and K. Often lacks enough protein for muscle repair. Remember, your brain thrives on healthy fats. Without them, focus, memory, and mood can dip fast. Add sugar into the mix, and it's a recipe for midday crashes and long-term decline. And for those with prediabetes or insulin resistance, a common condition among seniors, the added sugars and flavored low-fat yogurts can silently push blood sugar out of balance. Spoon nutritional context. Many fruit-flavored low-fat yogurts contain up to 20 g of added sugar per serving. That's nearly 5 teaspoons of sugar before you even add fruit or granola. There's also the issue of protein. Seniors need at least 20-30 g of high-quality protein per meal to preserve lean muscle mass. But low-fat yogurts often deliver less than half that, especially in flavored varieties. Why'd heavy checkmark smart swap? Choose full-fat Greek yogurt instead. It naturally contains more protein and fat, helping you stay fuller, longer. Mix in cinnamon, crushed nuts, and a handful of berries. Not only do you avoid the sugar crash, you feed your muscles, support your joints, and enhance brain function. If digestion is a concern, look for plain yogurt with live active cultures. These probiotics support gut health, which plays a major role in immunity, mood, and even sleep quality. Sparkles don't go anywhere. Next is the #1 breakfast that looks like a treat, but acts like a trigger for weight gain and muscle weakness. 4. Muffins, the cake you didn't know you were eating. Muffins are often sold as a quick, light breakfast. But nutritionally speaking, most muffins are just cake without frosting. Made with white flour, processed oils, and sugar, they digest quickly, spike blood sugar, and leave you hungrier than before. This is particularly dangerous for seniors, who already face higher risks of insulin resistance, sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, and cognitive fog. Why muffins are misleading? High in sugar and refined carbs, low in fiber. Disrupts blood sugar regulation and insulin sensitivity. Triggers cravings, bloating, and brain fog. Lacks protein, so it doesn't support muscle repair. Bagel, a standard store-bought muffin, can contain 400 plus calories and over 30 g of sugar. That's more than a can of soda, and it won't keep you full. Let's break it down further. Most commercial muffins are made using ultra-processed ingredients that create a quick burn in your system. The white flour lacks any fiber, so it turns into glucose almost instantly, flooding your bloodstream. That glucose then spikes insulin levels, which makes your body store more fat, especially around the midsection. And because muffins are low in protein and fat, they offer zero support for maintaining muscle mass. Worse, they often include inflammatory oils, like soybean or palm oil, which further disrupt hormonal balance and joint health. You might think, but it's just a small muffin. Unfortunately, these small muffins pack a big metabolic punch. Regular consumption can contribute to prediabetes, mental fog, and the dreaded 3 p.m. crash. Prohibited add to that the mental trap. Muffins feel healthy, especially those with labels like bran or blueberry. But don't be fooled. If the first ingredients include white flour and sugar, it's dessert disguised as breakfast. White heavy checkmark what to do instead. Toast a slice of whole grain bread. Top it with avocado and a boiled egg. Or bake your own low-sugar oat muffins at home using banana, cinnamon, and almond flour. You can even prep ahead by making protein-rich breakfast bites with oats, chia, egg, and grated apple, naturally sweet, fiber-rich, and truly satisfying. Sparkles, we've cleared out the harmful choices. Now, let's refocus on the powerful foods that nourish your body, protect your brain, and fuel your day. 1. Whole grains. Fuel your body and protect your gut. Let's start with a simple shift that could completely transform your mornings. Whole grains are the slow-burning fuel your body desperately needs after 60. Unlike refined grains, whole grains still have their bran and germ intact. This means more fiber, more vitamins, and more minerals to nourish your cells. Think of whole grains as your morning anchor. They help regulate blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and feed the healthy bacteria in your gut, which scientists now link directly to brain function, immune health, and even mood. Here's why it matters. After 60, digestion slows down, metabolism changes, and what you eat either builds your strength or takes it away. Refined carbs burn like paper. Whole grains burn like logs. Whole grains are also rich in B vitamins, especially B6 and B12, which are crucial for nervous system health and red blood cell production. Without enough B vitamins, many seniors may experience tingling limbs, fatigue, or even confusion. That's why a whole grain breakfast doesn't just support your stomach, it supports your brain and your circulation. 2. White heavy checkmark simple swaps you can make. Replace white toast with sprouted grain or rye bread. Use steel-cut oats instead of instant oatmeal. Try quinoa or millet with warm almond milk and cinnamon. Add a tablespoon of ground flaxseed or chia, and you've just upgraded breakfast into medicine. Want to stabilize blood sugar, reduce belly fat, and support healthy bowel movements? This is where you start. Sparkles coming up next. One food that's creamy, delicious, and packed with the anti-inflammatory power your joints crave. Stay with us, because this one surprises a lot of people. 2. Avocados, nature's anti-inflammatory superfood. Creamy, rich, and endlessly versatile. Avocados are like nature's butter, but better. They contain monounsaturated fats, potassium, magnesium, and powerful antioxidants that support both your heart and your muscles. But here's the real magic. Avocados calm inflammation. And inflammation is the root cause of everything from joint stiffness, to brain fog, to slow muscle recovery. If you feel stiff in the mornings, adding half an avocado to breakfast could start turning that around. As we age, the body's ability to regulate inflammation becomes less efficient. Chronic inflammation can become a silent fire inside your joints, muscles, and even blood vessels. Avocados help to extinguish that fire naturally. Beyond that, avocados contain a unique compound called beta-sitosterol, which supports healthy cholesterol levels, helping protect aging hearts. They also offer lutein, a carotenoid that supports eye health, a major concern for seniors facing macular degeneration or blurry vision. Avocado bonus. Avocados help absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. That means if you're taking supplements, but not pairing them with fat, your body might not be using them at all. Avocados are also rich in fiber, which feeds your gut microbiome, the good bacteria that influence digestion, immunity, and even emotional health. A happy gut makes a happy brain. White heavy checkmark how to eat them. Mash on toast with a sprinkle of sea salt and chili flakes. Blend into a green smoothie with spinach and protein powder. Dice into a veggie scramble or egg wrap. The best part? They keep you full longer. No more 10 a.m. snack attacks. You feel satisfied, steady, and mentally sharp. Sparkles next. We're cracking open the ultimate muscle-preserving breakfast. Rich in protein, affordable, and shockingly underused by seniors today. White heavy checkmark 3. Eggs, the gold standard for senior muscle health. Forget the old cholesterol myth. Eggs are back, and they're one of the most complete, nutrient-dense foods you can eat. Each egg contains all 9 essential amino acids, along with vitamin D, choline, selenium, and lutein. This is a nutrient powerhouse, especially for seniors trying to preserve muscle mass and protect cognitive health. Protein is the foundation of every muscle fiber. After 60, your ability to build and repair muscle slows down significantly. That's why you need more high-quality protein in smaller doses throughout the day, starting with breakfast. Cooking: if you're skipping protein in the morning, your body might be pulling it from your muscles later. And over time, that leads to weakness, slower recovery, and higher fall risk. Choline in eggs also supports brain cell communication. It's been linked to better memory, improved mood, and slower age-related decline. Eggs also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that protect the eyes from harmful light. They're especially valuable for preventing cataracts and supporting night vision. And don't overlook vitamin D. Found in the yolk, it's essential for calcium absorption and bone strength, critical for fall prevention. Many seniors are deficient in vitamin D without realizing it, which contributes to both bone loss and immune weakness. White heavy checkmark: easy ways to add eggs. Scramble with bell peppers, onions, and a dash of turmeric. Boil and slice over avocado toast or grain bowls. Make a veggie packed frittata for the week. Want better balance, steadier energy, and a stronger core? Eggs are your ally. Pair them with whole grains, and you've got a breakfast that fuels you well into the afternoon. Sparkles, finally, will reveal a sweet addition to breakfast that doesn't spike your sugar and actually helps your muscles repair. Get ready for something colorful and powerful. 4. Berries, antioxidant power, packed into a handful. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. These aren't just tasty, they're brain and muscle protectors. Rich in antioxidants like anthocyanins, vitamin C, and fiber, berries help reduce oxidative stress, the silent attacker behind aging and fatigue. For seniors, oxidative stress means slower recovery, more soreness, and cellular damage that speeds up memory decline. But berries fight back. They protect your DNA, reduce inflammation, and support healthy blood flow. Berries also help regulate blood sugar levels. Their natural sweetness comes wrapped in fiber and polyphenol, which slow digestion and reduce insulin spikes. This makes them ideal for seniors managing type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. Anthocyanins in dark-colored berries like blueberries and blackberries are especially powerful. Studies suggest they may even slow the progression of Alzheimer's by protecting neurons from degeneration. Eating just 1/2 to 1 cup of mixed berries daily has been linked to improved memory, better coordination, and even stronger muscles, especially when paired with protein. Berries are also rich in soluble fiber, which helps lower cholesterol naturally and improves digestion. And because they're low in calories but high in nutrients, they make a perfect guilt-free addition to any senior's breakfast. White heavy checkmark ways to enjoy them. Mix into Greek yogurt with chopped walnuts. Blend into a breakfast smoothie. Sprinkle on oatmeal with a spoon of almond butter. Here's a tip. Frozen berries are just as powerful as fresh. Keep a bag in the freezer and you'll never run out. Sparkles, let's bring this all together so you can turn every morning into a foundation for strength, clarity, and independence. Final takeaway: build strength, one breakfast at a time. Brain, as we wrap up, here's the big takeaway. Breakfast isn't just about filling your stomach. It's about fueling your strength, your clarity, and your independence for the day ahead. Cross-mark foods like sugary cereals, fruit juices, low-fat yogurts, and muffins might feel convenient, but they come with hidden costs. Blood sugar spikes, energy crashes, and long-term muscle loss aren't worth the few minutes you save. Why heavy checkmark instead? Reach for foods that work with your body, not against it. Whole grains for steady energy. Avocados for joint health. Eggs for strong muscles. Berries to protect your brain. These aren't fancy superfoods. They're simple, powerful habits, one breakfast at a time. Lightbulb, here's your challenge. Pick just one of today's swaps and try it tomorrow. Small steps lead to real change, and your body will thank you for it. Folded hands, if this video helped you rethink your mornings, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel Senior Health Tips. It's the best way to support us and help more seniors eat smarter, move better, and live longer, fuller lives. Speech balloon and let us know in the comments, which breakfast upgrade are you trying first? Until next time, stay strong, stay sharp, and remember, you're never too old to start feeling better.